right, let's head over to the tight end position now. This is a terrible position. We sweat over it every week, but last week, if you had a stud tight end, you probably advanced. I mean, we had monster performances from Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, George Kittle, Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz, Hunter Henry. I mean, it was tight end appreciation week. Can that happen again? And if it does, who's going to do it for us?
Well, let's hope, right? And Rob Gronkowski is at the top of my list. And this may be obvious, but his actual numbers in fantasy have dropped 3 straight weeks. He had a ton of targets last week, though. He had 11. Unfortunately, he didn't really do much with those targets. But again, this is one of those situations where you don't have Godwin, you might not have Evans, and Gronkowski clearly has a very good rapport with Tom Brady. We know that for sure. So even though the matchup's not great on paper, I think because of the volume of targets could be right around 8, 9, or 10 for Gronkowski, you absolutely have to play him this week. And then I also like Zach Ertz. We told you to play him last week. He had 11 targets, 13.4 fantasy points. We know DeAndre Hopkins is out, and he's got a good matchup on Christmas Day against the Colts. Their defense has allowed the 5th most fantasy points to tight ends week 9, including giving up 25.6 points to Hunter Henry just last week. So Zach Ertz should potentially give you a few Christmas presents for your fantasy football team. I'm also starting Dallas Goedert, and hey, Kyle Pitts, 2 straight games, 11 points. Doesn't seem like much, but at this point, we'll take it.
You know, Zach Ertz going to Arizona unlocked both Goddard and Ertz, and we need more gifts like that from the fantasy gods. It's the holiday season. Come on, help us out here. All right, who are we sitting at the tight end position this weekend?
And I just mentioned Hunter Henry. And I get it. He had a huge game. You maybe have to play him. I get it. I understand totally. So this is more of a beware, right, than anything else. He had failed to score before this past week, 9.9 fantasy points in 5 of 6 previous games. All right, so the numbers had not been there. He had 4 games with 4.3 or fewer points, and now he's got the Bills at Gillette Stadium. They've allowed just one tight end to put up more than 12.2 fantasy points against them all year long, and Hunter Henry had no points in Week 13. I get it, that was a strange game with the weather, but I would really temper expectations for Hunter Henry, and I'm also going to bench Tyler Conklin. He was a hot ad off the waiver wire a few weeks back, but he's really failed to meet expectations. He's actually failed to score more than 6.5 fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 games, during which time he's seen more than 3 targets just once. That's not good. The matchup's not great against the Rams this week as well, so Conklin needs to go on your bench. Also keep in mind, Adam Thielen could be back this week, which would mean fewer targets in the passing game. I'm also going to pass on Evan Engram, even though the matchup's great against the Eagles, because, well, the Giants just are not good. And Foster Moreau, he had a good game last week. Totally get it. The Broncos have been one of the toughest teams against tight ends all season long, so don't chase the points.